let us learn the proof of Tyred's extension theorem. Tyred's extension theorem. Let us see the statement of the theorem. It says that a topological space X tau, is normal if and only if for every closed set, okay, in X and a real valued function f from f to any interval AB, any closed interval AB, there exists a continuous extension f star on X, very important, on X to the same closed interval AB, such that f star when restricted to f is small f. So this is called Tyred's extension theorem. So we shall prove this. So there is if and only if. So we have sufficiency and necessary. So first we'll we'll do sufficiency. Sufficiency is smaller. So we'll do sufficiency first, then we shall go to necessary. So what is sufficiency? Sufficiency is this part, that is for every. So for a closed set, F and a closed interval, any closed interval AB, right? And a function from where to where? F to AB, which is continuous. So whenever you have a closed set and an interval and a function, continuous function on that closed, set, right, to that closed interval AB, right, there exists a continuous extension. We'll call that extension as F star. From where to where? Very important. It is to the set X to AB, and it's an extension. And F star restricted to F is F. So that is given. This is happening in any topological space, and we have to prove that. TPT means to prove that that topological space X tau is normal. We have to prove the space X tau is normal. Fine. Now to prove it is normal, we use Urysohn's lemma. Okay. So we'll take two disjoint closed sets in X. So let us take two disjoint closed sets. F1 and F2 be two disjoint closed sets. Let F1 and F2 be two disjoint closed sets. B, two disjoint closed sets. Okay, I'm using Urysohn's lemma. So I need a function which is continuous on X, right? Such that the first closed set should go to the first element of the codomain A, and the second closed set should go to the end point of that closed interval, right? Okay, so we have taken two disjoint closed sets, done. Now to use, what given, I want one closed set. So what do I do is I'll take the union of these two. So let F be union of these two. And clearly F is closed. So I got one closed set. And to use sufficiency, I got a closed set. Okay, I'll take this interval anyway. And I want one continuous function. On F. So now I'm defining one function. Define F. From where to where? From F to the closed interval AB, okay, by F of F1, all F1 elements. See, our F contains both F1 and F2, right? So F1 elements will go to, and F2 will go to B. Let us define a function. Now, to use the sufficiency, I need the function to be continuous. So we have to prove this function is continuous. Okay, so then in the next step, we are going to prove this is continuous. So once it is continuous, then I can use the sufficiency given part. Then there exists this f star, right? Okay, so now I have to prove it is continuous. Now to prove it is continuous, we'll take a closed set. Let S be a closed set. Let S be a closed set. So I'll say to show that or to prove that, to show that the function f is continuous. We shall prove it is continuous. Okay, so we'll take any closed set here. We are going to prove inverse of a closed set is closed. So let us take a closed set. So let S be a closed set. Where? In the codomain of F, that is AB, right? And I'm interested in F inverse of S equal to. Now, this S is a subset of this. And remember our function f of f1 is A and f of f2 is B, right? So if S is any subset of this and our images are only A and B, right? So it depends if both A and B belong to S. If both A and B belong to S, then F inverse F is nothing but full F. Following? If A and B both of them doesn't belong to S, then it is null set because of the our function, the definition of our function. If only first point belongs to S and B doesn't belong to S, then it is A, no, that is nothing but F1. And if A doesn't belong to S and B belongs to S, then it is F2. This is the definition of F inverse S. Remember our S is closed, right? Now check all these things. So clearly F null set, F1 and F2. All these are closed sets. All these are closed sets. So therefore, F inverse of S is closed, where our S is closed. So inverse of a closed set is closed. Therefore, our F is continuous. F is continuous. F is from where to where? F is from F to AB. Right? So a closed set and I've got a continuous function on that closed set. Now I can use the given sufficiency. So what is given to me now? So given that what? There exists a continuous extension, right? F star from where to where? F star is from X to AB, right? And it is an extension, no? So when it is restricted to F, is nothing but F, right? Okay, yes. Remember, we have to prove the topological space is normal. I'm using Urysohn's lemma. Now, to prove it is normal, I've taken two disjoint closed sets F1 and F2. So I want a continuous function. See, I've got a continuous function here on X to the interval AB. So I'll write the first point. First point is this F star from where to where is continuous. So I'm getting a continuous function that is nothing but F star itself, right? And F1 and F2 are two disjoint closed sets. No. What about second point? F star of F1, first closed set, F star of F1. So F star of F1 is nothing but F of F1 because F1 is contained in F. Remember, F star when restricted to F is nothing but F only. So it is F of F1. And what is F of F1? Remember, F of F1 is singleton A. Right? F of X1 is singleton A. So this is nothing but singleton A. Right? Now, similarly, third point, Similarly, the third point, I want what? Third one, third one, third one, what do I want? I want f of f star of f2 I want, right? This is equal to f of f2. Why? Because f2 is coming from f, and any f, so f star becomes f only, right? And what is f of f2? F of f2 is nothing but singleton b, singleton b. So therefore, what have we proved? We'll call by 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Right? What is our one? Our one is we got a continuous function on x. And number two is nothing but f star of that one closed set is nothing but first element singleton a. And the third one, the second closed set is going to b. So therefore, by Urysohn's lemma, by Urysohn's lemma, if this is happening in any topological space, that topological space is normal. Is normal. Hence, sufficiency. Very, very simple. So we proved sufficiency. Now we shall go to necessary. So what is necessary now? We'll write down what is given and what is to be proved. Okay, necessary. Necessary. What is given necessary? Given. So what is given? Our x star is normal. Okay, and given a closed set. Take any closed, given any closed set. Closed set where in x, and we want a function on this f to any closed interval ab, which is dash what? Continuous. Correct. And what we have to prove? Very, very important. TPT. We have to prove that there exists a continuous extension. We have to prove there exists a continuous extension f star. F star will be from where on what? On x to the same closed interval AB, and extension no. So f star restricted to f must be small f. Right? Okay. Now, suppose the given function is a constant function. That is case 1. So we are doing the proof of this. So in this, we'll divide into two cases. Case 1, if the given function is a constant function, that is if a equal to b, that is f is what function? Constant function. If f is a constant function. What is the meaning of constant function? That is f on capital F. Both a and b are same, no? So it will become a singleton, right? And f of x equal to a for all x belonging to f. Find a constant function, and any constant function can be extended, right? Any constant function can be extended. So this f also can be extended, and that extension will be continuous if f is continuous. So f is also continuous, yes. So extended to f star to any set, and we are taking to x to singleton a, such that f star of x equal to a for all x belonging to x, right? Since f is continuous, that constant function is continuous, this is continuous. Okay, any extension is also continuous, so therefore f star is also continuous, So if it is a constant function, nothing to be proved, it becomes as though it is obvious, because of any constant functions can be extended to whatever superset we want, right? Now suppose it is not a constant function. Suppose it is not a constant function. Okay, case 2. Suppose it is not a constant function. Suppose this is our case 2, right? Suppose it is not a constant function. That means what? A not equal to B, right? That is our f is not a constant function. Our f is not a constant function. Okay. Now we want actually what? We want an extension f star. We want an extension f star to the interval, closed interval AB, right? Now what we are going to prove is, in the first step, we are going to prove that the extension will exist when the closed interval is -1, 1. So we shall prove that, to prove that if f from f2, if it happens for -1, 1, we are going to prove that it happens for -1, 1, which is continuous, continuous. We are going to prove that there exists f star from where? X to same interval -1, 1, right? -1, 1, which is also continuous, and f star restricted to f is f. Okay, we are going to prove that just the interval is replaced. Interval is replaced. Now here we are going to prove that it happens for -1, 1. Whenever a function from f to -1, 1 is continuous, right? We're going to prove that there exists an extension f star from x to the same interval -1, 1, which is also continuous, and it's an extension of f. Okay, we are going to prove for -1, 1, right? Okay. And later we are going to prove it happens for that in any interval AB, right? Okay. So now to prove this, there are many steps, sub-steps. Okay. First of all, let us construct what? A sequence of rational numbers like this. Sequence of what numbers? Rational numbers. Rational numbers. We'll call that set as Bn. N equal to 0 to infinity. Okay. How is this, Bn? Bn is nothing but 1 by 3, 2 by 3 to the power n. Something like this. Okay. This is for all n. N equal to 0 to infinity. Right? So our Bn is something like this. Right? Just put n equal to 0. So what is B naught? B naught is nothing but 1 by 3, 2 power 3 power 0, that is 1 by 3. So therefore, we are getting 3b naught is 1. Very, very important. 1 is nothing but equal to 3b naught. Just remember this box because we are going to use this. Then, what is bn plus 1? Bn plus 1, consider Bn plus 1. Consider Bn plus 1. So Bn plus 1 is nothing but, okay, the place of n, you're going to put n plus 1. Following? Now this is nothing but 1 by 3, 2 by 3, right, power n into 2 by 3, right? This part is nothing but Bn 2 by 3. So Bn plus 1 is this. So therefore, 3Bn plus 1 is equal to 2Bn. Remember this relation also for all n. Fine. So we got a sequence of rational numbers defined like this, and we have 3b not equal to 1, remember this, and we have 3bn plus 1 is equal to 2bn, right? Okay. Now let us define a function. Let us define a function. The function is, we'll call that function as g naught. This g naught is nothing but our given f only, right? So define g naught from f to minus, remember our interval is -1, 1 now, right? Okay, yes. So g naught from f to -1, 1, And minus 1, 1 is nothing but 3b naught, right? So we'll substitute that. 3b naught minus 3b naught plus 3b naught. And this f naught, this g naught is nothing but f naught. G naught is nothing but f only. G naught is nothing but not f naught, f only, the given f. Given f only, right? Now clearly number 1, first point. What about G naught? Is it continuous? Because our G naught is nothing but f, since f is continuous. Just renamed it, that's all. Since f is continuous, f is nothing but our G naught, so G naught is also continuous, right? Okay. So now, let us divide the interval. Say this is 1, minus 1, and this is plus 1. In the middle, there will be 0, right? And 1 is nothing but 3b naught. So this is nothing but minus 3b naught, and this is plus 3b naught, right? So we'll divide this into 3 parts. From here to here, we'll cut into exactly 3, right? This is 2b naught, and this is b naught. Similarly here, this is minus b naught, this is minus 2b naught. Fine. Now what I'm going to do is, we'll have the closed interval minus 3b naught and minus b naught. Similarly, b naught plus 3b naught. Fine. Let a naught be equal to, this is actually in this, right? Minus 1, 1. Now what is our a naught? A naught is g naught inverse of this interval, minus 3b naught minus b naught. Okay. And this is a closed interval, and any closed interval is a closed set. And G naught is what? G naught is continuous, and inverse of a closed set is closed. Therefore, A naught is closed. Right? Now I'll take B naught. B naught is equal to G naught inverse of, same way, I'm going to take this interval now. So B naught, 3B naught. Similarly, and G naught is continuous, right? G naught is continuous, and this is closed set. So conclusion is what? Conclusion is what? Therefore, A naught and B naught are what sets? Closed sets. Closed sets. Are they disjoint? Right? And disjoint. Why? Why they are disjoint? Because these two closed intervals are disjoint. See? No common points at all. This is different. This is different. Fine. So A naught and B naught are two closed sets. Two disjoint closed sets. Where? In F. In F. Correct? No, because it is G naught inverse. So definitely in F. Fine. Okay. So A naught intersection B naught. So they are disjoint and closed sets in F. And F is, subset of capital X, right? And X tau is dash. Our X tau is dash what? Normal. X tau is normal. I got two disjoint closed sets, right? And X tau is normal. So what should happen now? So by Urysohn's lemma, applying Urysohn's lemma, there exists a continuous function. There exists a continuous function, right? We'll call the function as f naught. We'll call the function as f naught. For g naught, we'll call it as f naught, right? F naught. From where to where? X to any interval. And that interval, which interval we are going to take? We are going to take minus b naught plus b naught. This is any interval, remember. And we are choosing this interval purposely, right? Okay. Such that f naught of the first closed set is going to the first point of that interval, and f naught of the second closed set is going to the end point of that interval. Okay, this is happening by Urysohn's lemma because X tau is normal. I got two disjoint closed sets. So now we define G1. See, remember for our G naught is nothing but F only. Remember this. We are going to use this also at the end. Our G naught is nothing but F only. For this G naught, I got F naught, which is also continuous on X. On X. Okay. So now we'll define G1 now. Now we shall define G1. So G1 is define G1. G1. From where to where? We had all G's are on F only, right? F2, F2. See, I'm just taking the codomain like this. Minus 3b1 plus 3b1. Right? By G1, I'm defining G1. G1 is nothing but G naught minus F naught. G naught minus F naught. See, I'm defining G1 equal to G naught minus F naught. I'm taking the codomain is like this. Now we have to prove this G1 is, whether it is well defined or not. Right? Now to show that the range of, that is I am proving G1 is well defined. Range of G1 is this closed interval. We are just taking this. Let us prove the range is this only. That is, we are proving G1 is well defined. We are proving G1 is well defined. Right? Okay. Now, this is our, F. A naught is there in F. This is our A naught. And B naught, this is our B naught. Fine, they are disjoint closed sets in F, and F is in capital X. Okay, yes. So now I'll take any element belonging to F. So let us take any element belonging to F. See, any element belonging to F means what? It could be in A, here, or outside. So this will imply X may be in A naught, right? Or X may be in B naught, right? Or what? Or that X may be, or X may be outside, that is here. That is not in this, not in this. So A naught union B naught. Fine. So three, chances. It may be in A naught or B naught, or in not in the union A naught union B naught. Right? Okay. Now we are going to prove if X belongs to this, we are going to prove G1 of X is here. If X belongs to B naught, we are going to prove G1 of X is here. Right? Okay. Now let us take the first case. Let us take the first case. Let X belong to A naught. What is our A naught? A naught is, what is our A naught? Our A naught is nothing but, what is our A naught? A naught is nothing but G naught inverse of minus 3B naught minus B naught. Right? So therefore, X will belong to this. Minus 3B naught minus B naught. So therefore, G naught of X will belong to this interval. Minus B naught. Following, guys? So now, this implies what? This implies this is in between this. That means what? Minus 3B naught lesser than or equal to G naught of X lesser than or equal to minus B naught. Right? Now we'll add B naught on both sides. You will know why we are adding this. Adding B naught on both sides, everywhere. So what is happening here when we are adding? This will become minus 2B naught. So G naught of X, we are adding, no? So plus B naught. And plus B naught minus B naught will become 0. Right? Okay. So next, that implies, and very, very important, where is our X here? X is in, since X belongs to A naught. What is our F of X? Or F naught of X? F naught of X is nothing but minus B naught. Remember, F naught of A naught is minus B naught. So X belongs to A naught, therefore F naught of X is equal to minus B naught. So I have plus b naught here. So minus sign should be shifted here, right? So therefore I'm replacing this b naught. I'll keep as it is. G naught of x. For this b naught, I'm putting minus f naught of x lesser than or equal to 0. Following, guys? And that implies minus 2b naught, right, lesser than or equal to g naught minus f naught. I'll put one bracket x on x, right, lesser than or equal to 0, right? And what is 2b naught? This 2b naught is nothing but 3b1, right? Why? We'll write here. So we have a formula. What is the formula? 3bn plus 1 is equal to what? 2bn. So therefore, put in in the place of n, put 0. So what are we going to get? We are going to get 3b1 is equal to 2b naught. So 2b naught is nothing but 3b1. So what do we do? So minus 3b1 lesser than or equal to, and g naught minus f naught is nothing but g1 of x lesser than or equal to 0. So therefore, g1 of x, right, will belong to the interval what? 0. Correct. And this is contained in what? Minus 3b1 plus 3b1. So therefore, g1 of x will belong to this. Right? That is what the codomain is this. Whenever x belongs to a naught, we got g1 of x belongs to this. Right? Now I'm taking the next case. We'll take x belonging to b naught. X belonging to b naught. X belonging to b naught. So next case, let us take x belonging to b naught. What is our b naught? B naught is nothing but g naught inverse of minus b naught plus b naught and 3b naught. Correct? Okay. So next step is what? This implies x will belong to g naught inverse of b naught 3b naught. This implies g naught of x will belong to b naught 3b naught. This implies b naught lesser than or equal to g naught of x lesser than or equal to 3b naught. Okay. Now what do? We'll subtract. Why we are subtracting? Okay. Where is our x? X belongs to this. So what is our f naught of x? F naught of b naught is b, singleton b, right? So x belongs to b naught, therefore it is b naught. B is b. Is b naught. Sorry, b naught. Correct. It is b naught. So what now? So what do we do now? Right? Okay, now we'll subtract. We will know what is, why we are subtracting. Subtract b naught. So when you are subtracting b naught, what is happening on the, LHS? This is 0. G naught of x, we are subtracting b naught, so minus b naught. Here it becomes 2b naught. And remember what is our 2b naught? 2b naught is 3b1, right? So this implies 0. Tell me now. So what is b naught? B naught is nothing but f naught of x. This is not equal to, this is nothing but 3b1. So therefore, what have we got? 0 lesser than or equal to, we'll separate x on x lesser than or equal to 3b1. Therefore, what is the in G naught minus f naught is nothing but G1 3b1, right? So therefore, where is G1x? Will belong to 0 3b1, and definitely this is contained in minus 3b1 comma 3b1, right? So therefore, G1 of x will belong to minus 3b1 3b1. So whenever x belongs to b naught, I got G1 of x belonging to this, right? Now what is the last case now? Now I should take any element not belonging to a naught and b naught, right? We have to take the element not belonging to a naught and b naught. So let us take now the next case. So let x not in a naught union b naught. Correct? A naught union b naught. Fine. So We know what is our A naught. We know what is our B naught. So that means X will not belong to A naught and X will not belong to B naught. What is our A naught? A naught is nothing but G naught inverse of what? Minus 3B naught, right? Minus B naught. And X doesn't belong. And X doesn't belong to what is our B naught? B naught is G naught inverse of, right? B naught, 3B naught, right? So X doesn't belong to this, X doesn't belong to this. That means what? G naught of X doesn't belong to minus 3B naught minus B naught. And G naught of X, right, doesn't belong to B naught, 3B naught, right? Fine. So where it will be then now? So therefore, G naught of X should belong to minus B naught plus B naught. The interval minus B naught plus B naught. Correct? No? Because this is 0, this is B naught, this is 2B naught, this is 3B naught, right? This is minus B naught, this is minus 2B naught, and this is minus 3B naught. So it's not in this from here to here. It is not in this. And it is not in this also. It is not in this also. Right? And this is our, minus 1 plus 1. Correct? So where it will be then? It has to be here. It has to be here. That is nothing but minus B naught plus B naught. Fine. So therefore, what have we got? We have got minus B naught less than. Why it is less than? And again less than B naught because it's open interval here. Open interval here. Right? And what about F naught of X? F naught of X. F naught also belongs to open interval minus B naught plus B naught because our X doesn't belong to A naught.